What's interesting is when you look at this chart, all those little numbers there that are the transaction type, just a few years ago, we didn't have any of this, and at least now there are standards for how all of these transactions take place, and now it's just a matter of letting the evolution catch up.
Yeah, I guess in sort of the healthcare time frame, it's happened fairly rapidly. In IT terms, this has been a fairly slow process, but it's happening and it's having impact.
When we talk about revenue cycle performance, most people that goes straight to work in the accounts receivable. I mean, we've talked about some front-end stuff, some transaction stuff. But let's talk about how technology specifically can help you work your AR and keep your AR down.
Well, I think the first key to repeat is I think the front end is the key. So enabling the tools we talked about on the front end, and really not just tools, but building the process discipline in your organization that if you don't do these things, if you don't verify insurance, if you don't capture the demographics in the systems correctly, that you're essentially costing the clinic money, because the discipline associated with that is going to directly tie to the numbers of denials and how fast and well you're going to get claims paid. So I think, combining the technology with good process discipline, training of your organization and that type of thing to get that front end, obviously hiring quality folks and really measuring, if you will, what they're doing. I mean, there are ways pretty easily to measure a lot of these activities, and hopefully, a good practice will have those types of measurements in place. But then you move, to the EDI process, and it's shocking to me how often I find when there's a big mishap in the revenue cycle in a clinic, oftentimes what I'll hear is the culprit for that is a failed EDI process. Claims weren't getting submitted and nobody knew. Payments weren't coming, nobody knew, And so I think having the ability to, continuously monitor that electronic transaction cycle to make sure it's functioning properly is key. Understanding, getting the knowledge base to understand how do you make this thing work and how do you keep it working.
But that failure can show up in two ways. On one hand, you look at practice whose AR goes up, they think they submitted claims and don't understand why they're not getting paid, and they've got trapped. Right. Or AR mysteriously goes down because claims actually didn't even get out of their own house. Because the EDI failure can skew your AR numbers either direction.
Which is why I think, trying to look at just results measures to monitor that process is a mistake. I think you have to look at the actual transaction process itself and get reports or indicators that, these transactions are actually reaching their destination or coming inbound at the rate that you expect them to.